Sonny Creek, Sonny myself. I hope you've had a good couple of weeks. Back on live. Don't know what we're talking about tonight, but Ross will let us know when he joins. Paul's having a bit of trouble at the moment. If you could just let me know that you can see and hear me by commenting for us as soon as you can. It says we're live. Yeah, it says we're live on YouTube, so that's good. I don't know if we're live on Facebook. So if anybody could let me know, would appreciate it. Paul seems to be having a lot of trouble with his computer tonight because he's been on, now he's gone. Might have changed to Russ having a. But I don't know. Hey. Hi, mate. You all right, Paul? You've dropped off here, mate. Obviously. Thanks, Helen. Brilliant. Just wait for Russ to get back. See what happens.
I'm here.
So I think we're live on both.
Sorry about that.
Mate, how you doing that?
And he wouldn't do it, so I pushed it. I kept going like that, and then it come out, and then it just exited everything. And I went, balls!
You're back.
That's it. We're back.
Right. I don't know. The button's suppressed now. You know that. I'm going to press this one.
Join Russ and Paul.
It's not that one. I'm going to press this one. No. I'm going to press this one. Don't know which one I'm pressing.
That could be the one.
It's now time for you to sit back in your chair and let your mind wander into the deepest, darkest parts of your brain, and let Russ and Paul take you on a journey through the unexplained.
Everybody, and welcome to Journey Through the Unexplained, the EGH Paranormal Talk Show, live and exclusive on Facebook, YouTube, and wherever we may be broadcasting. Who knows? Who knows? We are live. It's, as I say, now the shows are joint. They're together. There's all as one, and whatever you want to call it, we can talk about a bit of everything. On everything at the moment. So who have we got? We've got Helen in the chat. You are on Facebook. Hello, Helen. We've got Lee that's watching. We've got Joe in the chat. The Three Musketeers, the Three Amigos, whatever we want to be called. I think it's been the nicest that we've been called for a long time. Welcome, Mr. Paranormal Paul, and welcome, Si, to the show.
Hi, mate.
Good evening.
You've had a bit of a technical difficulties, Paul, with
I don't think it's I think it's just me, mate. I don't know my way around computers.
Well, but you do it every week.
I don't have trouble every week, but for some reason I think my computer's updated itself. That's what it is, because I've got a load of new bits and pieces that have come up, and I don't know what the hell they are. So there you go.
Oh well look, we're live. You're here.
Yes.
Correct,
yeah.
And present. We've got Sue that is watching. Hiya, Sue.
Hi, Sue.
I always want to go, what's that from? Hi, Sue. What's that from? It's a program, isn't it? He has trouble nearly every week. It's normally me. I tell you what, my computer is in its last legs. We are now in sort of territory where I can't turn it off. If I turn it off, I do not feel that it will have any power to boost back up. So it just stays on and it keeps everything open. until it disappears, there's not much I can really do about it. But I've tried everything. But technical, you know what it's like with technical issues. But welcome everybody, welcome one and all. I say it's a bit of a mixed show tonight. We're going to be talking about a bit of everything. I've got questions that have been sent in that need answering. But I'm going to start off with probably one of the talking points. This goes probably along the EGH stuff more than the journey, but I will touch on some journey stuff. My computer's 13 years old. Can that get me into trouble? Can that get me into trouble?
Yeah.
No.
Probably. Yeah, probably.
I suppose that's a play on words there, Joe, isn't it? But I got sent this the other week, so I don't know how much that you guys know about this, but I think it's a good starting point. Let me get you the stuff that I need to go into and then go from it. So, do you know about a paranormal investigator called Dan Rivers? Or Riviera? So, right, his name is Dan Riviera. I think his name's Dan Riviera. And he has suddenly passed away. Okay, so it's quite a sad story. And I think it's only recently that he's passed away. But he was with the Annabelle doll at the time.
Oh, God almighty.
Oh, God.
With the Annabelle doll. So a paranormal investigator died suddenly on Sunday night while touring with the infamous and supposedly haunted Annabelle doll. His tour organizer has announced Dan Riviera, a U.S. Army veteran, was in Gettysburg, Pennsylvania on his sold-out Devils on the Run when firefighters and medics hold on, let me click on that. Firefighters and medics were rushed to his hotel. The Evening Sun reported CPR was performed, but Riviera 54 died, according to New England Society for Psychic Research, when he was the lead investigator. His exact cause of death remains unclear. Riviera was a feature as a paranormal investigator on Travel Channel's Most Haunted Places, and served as a producer on a number of shows, including Netflix 28 Days Haunted. As a part of this tour, Riviera is traveling around with the US other members of NESBA to show off Annabelle, the creepy and alleged demonic doll. His death came after he finished a three-day sellout stop in Gettysburg from Friday through Sunday, hosted by Ghosty Images and Gettysburg Tours. Riviera, who is survived by his wife and 4 children, used social media, including TikTok, to bring international Annabelle and the Ragged Doll tied to a series of supposedly hauntings in the 1970s after being given a Connecticut nursing student named Donna and Ed and Lorraine Ron. The infamous investigators claim the doll psychically lifted its own arms, followed by people around the house. So that's sort of where we're starting tonight. I know it's sort of a bit of a hard-hitting one, but you see pictures of this gentleman holding the doll. Sorry, what was that the guy that took the doll to various places? It's not
Tony Spira.
It's not Tony Spira. No, it's not. Apparently, the grounds he died on were burial grounds as well. Lorraine Warren warned them never to remove Annabelle. But
yeah, but
sorry,
there's been
Psycho.
so many warnings, hasn't there, not to move the Annabelle doll, and everybody sort of scoffs at it. You know,
We are, but let's be fair. This doll has moved many times.
It's moved, but it
No,
hasn't
no,
been taken. It hasn't been taken on tour. It sits in the museum.
No, but it has been taken on tour. It's been taken to Zach Bagin's place. It's been taken around. You know, I don't think it's left the country, but I don't think this is an uncommon occurrence.
Hmm.
Or I just thought it shouldn't be removed from the box that it was kept in.
Yeah.
That was my understanding of the doll. Don't touch the doll. From
Yeah, it was don't touch the doll, but then it's been out of its box because people have touched it, haven't they?
yeah, well, they wear gloves, don't they? They wear latex gloves. Like as far as I'm concerned, like that's going to stop anything. But
Yeah.
I don't think it would, but that's weird. But again,
I mean,
it's coincidence, couldn't it?
It could be coincidence. It all depends on how you look at it, doesn't it? I mean, it's not like it's a machine that every time someone touches it or moves it, you drop down dead, is it? It's not going to happen every single time. If things, from what I can work out, things seem to happen every time it gets moved. Not always a death. Like I say, it could be coincidence, but I mean,
Really, it
I
is
can see a
weird.
lot of people. It's the
Would you touch
first thing people are going to jump to, isn't it?
I have to sort of, first things first. First port of call that we send out our condolences to the family.
100%.
It's left in turmoil of the family, wife and children. We can only send healing, and our prayers go to
Yeah.
that side of the side of the family. I generally believe this is some sort of coincidence, as you've both said, that there's many people that have touched this doll, they've moved this doll. I just think there's a slight coincidence of what has potentially gone on.
But didn't Lorraine Warren have if you touched it, have a spell to put it right? I'm sure she did. I'm sure.
Yeah, I think you're right there, Si.
I think she had there was something to reverse it. So if I went in there and I touched it and crap, what am I going to do? You can reverse it. She had a spell or he did, one of them did, to put it right. I don't know if it was Lorraine or Ed, but one of them did.
So we've got Joe that's on the chat there. He said, any of you three amigos know the history of the animal? I can't remember the story. I've just got some there for. I'll read you before we go on to the other questions. We'll just give you the brief history of obviously the Annabelle doll for Joe. Annabelle doll became a household name in 2014 when a horror film followed the story of the doll that became possessed, haunting a couple nearly to their death. So it's every bit of history is going to be quite. Dan Riviere, paranormal investigator, died in Pennsylvania while bringing the doll on a national tour on the behalf of New England Society of Psychic Research, a group founded by the late paranormal investigators Ed and Lorraine. The cause of death has not been released. Adams County Sheriff Deputy Coroner Scott Penwell told Today Riviere's death was nothing suspicious. What is the origin of the story? Until recently, the doll was kept in the Occult Museum in Monroe, Connecticut, founded by paranormal investigators Ed and Lorraine Warren. The museum is now closed to the public. The New England Society of Psychic Research recounts its alleged original story, how it became in the Warrens' possession. In 1968, a nursing student was gifted a ragged Ann doll, which she brought back to the apartment she shared with a roommate. According to a timeline of the ESPA, the roommates subsequently noticed a strange occurrence with the doll before a medium told it was inhabited by a spirit of a young girl named Annabelle. The two roommate tried to accept the doll's spirit, and please only if you have appropriate. The Nespa website says the Warrens deemed the doll demonically possessed and removed it from the house. According to Nespa, the couple then seized the glass box and contained it with a spirit entity. That's very basic. But it says, why was the Annabelle doll on tour? The Annabelle was a part of the Devil's Run tour. The Devil's Run tour celebrated the work of Ed and Lorraine Warren and displayed Annabelle for those who brave enough to face her. One of the tour's key highlights is the famous Annabelle, which is, despite seemingly innocent appearance, has been cause of the doll's reported bring misfortune, injury, and even death to those who have interacted with it inappropriately. In May, Annabelle was rumoured to have been missing from the Connecticut Museum. Riviera took to TikTok to assure viewers that the doll's whereabouts. I want to assure you guys that Annabelle is in the Warrens Occult Museum. Let's take a look inside. So he's claiming that the doll hadn't gone missing. What happened to Dan Riviera? Say there is no. I'm not going to keep going over the grounds of obviously how he died and everything like that. But to be fair, Joe, there isn't. I know there's more to it. Donna, her name was Donna from Hartford, Connecticut, who claimed the doll could move by itself. Frightening behavior. The Warrens said the psychic medium had told the student nurse the doll had been taken over by a spirit of a 6-year-old girl called Annabelle. The Warrens claimed the doll was demonically possessed, subsequently placed in a box in the occult museum. Over time, the Warrens publicized various claims about Annabelle. Supposedly, the doll inflicted physical slashes. It drew blood to its victims, caused a priest who insulted the doll to run his car into a tree and stab a homicidal detective, forcing him into early retirement. The story of the doll was a feature of the 1980s book, The Demonologist, written by Gerald Brittle. The resulted claimed the exclusive deal. There's a lot to it. A lot to it. But I know the doll didn't. I don't think. Don't get me wrong on this. But the doll didn't harm the nurse. I believe the doll harmed her boyfriend.
Yeah. It started. I remember that. He felt very uncomfortable about it, and I think that it was as if the doll felt threatened by the boyfriend because the boyfriend didn't like the doll and he kept moving it out of the room and things like that. And I think the boyfriend got scratches on him.
I remember them moving the doll on purpose to the front door. When they got home, it had moved back to where they'd moved it from. I remember that side of things. And I know we've also got to be very wary of Hollywood taking this story and blowing it 10 times out of proportion to what it is. So let's loosely base this on, the evidence of Ed and Lorraine Warren here, rather than the films.
Yeah.
What I would call the films.
Yeah, you can't. Yeah, agree.
I have read the book, The Demonologist, and it is a really good book, but I'll be completely honest. Where I've seen so many different things about the Annabelle, I can't remember what bits were in the book and what bits I've seen or read elsewhere. I think it was in the film where the boyfriend or the nurse threw it in the trash outside. And the next day, I was back in the house, but I can't remember if that was actually happened or that was the Hollywood version.
Yeah,
I think that was a Hollywood version because I saw that as well, Bob. But then, yeah, I've seen something else about it as well, but I can't remember. I've seen so much about it, it just goes into one, I think.
let's say the more you watch, obviously, documentaries and things like that, but, you know, let's just, you know, we know, obviously, the standout facts here that Ed and Lorraine Warren were called to the property of a haunted location. Then they decide that I am assuming they don't link it straight to the doll at first sight. They then link it, then they do their investigations, then link it to the Paul's throwing everything around in his room.
I've got my books here, and I'm just trying to, if I had the demonologist book there, but I haven't. It's obviously upstairs.
So for me, I'm just going on the very light evidence of, you know, of they've gone into the house. I don't quite know how they found it was haunted or the place was haunted. I'm assuming Ed and Lorraine Warren went in there, then linked the haunting to the doll rather than it just being a haunted place. I don't know.
So I'm thinking of the actual documentary about Ed and Lorraine Warren. That's the one I'm thinking of.
I'm sure they were called in because of the doll.
They was, yeah, and that was a documentary on Ed and Lorraine Warren. That was quite a good documentary.
Yeah,
it's worth watching.
You know, it all, you know, everything there makes perfect sense to me. You know, everything is fitting the, you know, haunted object, something like that. And then Ed and Lorraine Warren are getting called in, which is sort of fine and dandy, to be fair. But obviously, Joe, that's sort of the history that we can find. Do coincidences happen in the paranormal? We'll come back to that one. I think that's a good question. Nothing's been announced. We covered it. Good evening, Heidi. Lovely to have you on.
Heidi.
Apparently, Robert the doll is very interesting. That's a different one again. There is a documentary or film on it all. Very interesting, but I guess it's down to personal experience whether you believe it or not.
Well, would I touch Annabelle the doll? No, I wouldn't.
See, I think I would.
Yeah, I think I would. I don't.
I wouldn't. Why would I do that? If that did have a power or a demon attached to it, why would I put myself in danger?
But see, I'm one. As frightened as people make me out to be, and don't get me wrong, there's certain situations I wouldn't want to get myself in. Dolls and clowns, I can't stand them. But I don't know. There's something about it. And I think if I don't feel nothing just looking at it, now don't get me wrong, I might be face to face with this doll and think there is no way on God's green earth I'm going to touch that thing if I felt something. But if I don't feel it, if I don't feel like that, there's something in me that's going to say, go for it, touch it, see what happens. Then if, you know, you're going to believe or...
I don't think so.
Hi, Tony. Welcome along.
Hiya.
You can't taste, eat unless you eat it. You can't taste it unless you eat it. That's
true.
I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying.
But would you want to eat that?
No,
what you could get out of it. So what you could get out of it, if you're going to touch it in 24 hours, like you're going to pop your clogs.
Yeah, but
it's worth it.
Have touched it but haven't popped their clogs. People have touched that. There's a whole.
Yes, but then there is a spell to reverse it, supposedly. So how do we know all the people that touched it? Yeah, I'll touch it. Zach Bacon, yeah, I'll touch it. Go and touch it. But then, oh shit!
But there's nothing to say.
All crap.
There's nothing to say that every time you touch it, you're going to die. It just means that something's going to happen to you or your loved ones or people around you bad. And let's be honest, that's the natural part of life anyway. So can you do you wait until something bad happens and then just relate it to the doll? I'm not saying it's not the doll, but it's one of them, isn't it? You know,
it's to me, it's the same as the old, you know, the Tutankhamun story. You know, the people that went in there, dug it up, died. Well, actually, look at the thing. They died 2 months later. To me, that's too big a distance from when they touched it to when they opened it. You know, this gentleman, this poor, you know, this Riviera bloke has touched it on the day. Well, it's been on tour for 3 days, and he has then passed away on the Sunday night. So, in context of my whole, you know, story here, you can begin to sort of link that because it's close proximity. But as you said, Paul, how many people have touched this doll, and what has gone on? What is the time gap between things going on? What is the things that are ticking the box? Because, as you say, you could.
Do we know anything that's happened to other people, though? Do we actually know of any other cases where they've touched it and something's happened to them?
Exactly, no. So I think that feels my whole point of it. As Paul said, you could then, if it happens 3 months later or 3 weeks later, then you start to, you know, fit your bad luck into you touching that doll. If for me,
I think it's different with the Tutankhamun thing, though.
Yeah,
that's just where my head went. Because if it was everyone that opened it passed away 2 months later,
no,
to
not
me
everyone.
that is
Not everyone.
not everyone.
There was 2 of them.
Oh, right.
And they blamed it on Tutankhamun, but they believe it was the sand. They inhaled too much sand and the dust when they dug. But I know I'm loosely basing it on Tutankhamun's story, but I've just used it as an example.
Yeah.
So
Sorry.
I was trying to get my point across, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Mark, nice to have you along in the show.
How we doing?
Mike.
But yeah, that's my whole point of it. That's my whole point of it. For me, did he touch the doll with his bare hands? That's what I would want to know first and foremost. You know, as I said, latex gloves. You know, I've watched plenty of videos and things where they've moved. They removed the doll into a new case, didn't they? The other month, I believe, or that had to be a new case was built.
Yeah, but there's probably certain people that can touch it. Do you get what I mean?
But we're talking about
the nurse could touch it. The nurse could touch it.
Yeah.
So it wouldn't harm her.
But we're talking about this spell as well, this so-called spell, right? We're talking about Nesba. This New England is run by Tony Spearer.
Yeah,
he heads that. So if this doll's being allowed to go on tour, it's obviously had the blessing of Tony.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure that Tony would send the paranormal guest, Dan Rivers, out with that spell, or at least cast that spell, if this so-called spell exists, before it goes on tour. The only thing I will say, and I will backtrack on my words at the beginning of what I said, is when I read that link back, it said, I think it's something along the lines that this was the first time it's gone on tour. I have to take my words back because I believed it went out more times than it has been.
Yeah.
But I have, we watched there's a whole program in it on Zach Bagans. It's been to that museum, and it was sat on a chair, taken out, put on a chair.
I find him very Hollywoodized as well, that Zach Bagans. I know a lot of people love him. He don't quite gel for me, that fella, and I can't guarantee it was the actual Annabelle doll with him.
I can't stand the boy. I put it out there
now.
I
can't.
He does my
It could easily have been a replica. if he's manhandling it, this and that, and doing what have you. But I
Apparently-
remember, I'm pretty sure with the Warrens, didn't they have a priest come in weekly or monthly to bless the doll as well?
Yes. Yeah.
Don't-
Yeah.
Yeah. And apparently it was also mocked by a motorcyclist who died over 4 days later.
Mm.
So, yeah, again, could be coincidence. I don't know.
Yeah.
No, I think I'll just leave it alone. It's not one of the things I want to say, to be honest.
We've got questions coming in, or so let's go to them. Leah said, in a general time frame for when some demonic would take someone, how long after would you say it would be clear? Ooh, to be fair, it does depend on situation, circumstances. There's not just a cutthroat answer for that. There is a
No,
It can lay
At the end of
dormant,
the
can't it?
if it's
Some
demonic,
demonic
it's
lay
going to
dormant.
want to be torture.
you know, but you go two ends of the scale with a demonic energy. It can hit quite forceful, as you know we've come across. If it wants to attack, it's going to attack. But with a demonic energy, the demonic energies, how do you put it? It's not necessarily there to kill. The demonic energy is there to put the onus on you, to put your onus on to demise yourself. So it uses the art of depression. It uses the art of taking things away from you to so-called not be blamed for it. Demonic energy would not take your life. It would try to make you take your own life to persuade it. It didn't do anything. It was on you. The onus was on you. So it has to, you know, a demonic energy and fester over a long period of time. A long period of time.
Gradually wear you down.
Yeah. So very hard question, and there's no real definitive answer on that.
Yeah.
We're talking obviously Dan Rivers. We're talking about probably a hard hitting energy here. But if he did know, you know, we're talking about, you know, sorry, I keep going back to it because we have to go back to it. As you say, Simon, you've used the words there. What was the words that you used? I'm trying to think now.
What did I say?
What it did, they went in there and mocked it.
Yeah,
They
did.
went in there to mock it.
Yeah.
And that's when it fights back. So in defense to the doll or the demonic presence, it's only defending itself. Don't mock me because I can do more than you, so to speak.
Yeah.
But I'm assuming Dan Rivers or Riviera
I
or
wouldn't have thought he was. Yeah, I wouldn't have thought he was mocking it. But the thing is, I don't know. Is it not mocking it by making it, putting it in front of people? All right, you're leaving the museum in its cage and people come to look at it, or in its glass. I get that. But once you start taking it out on tour and asking people to come, are you not sort of, in a way, mocking it? You're putting it on show. That's really what I would say.
I
Like
get
a circus act.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly, Paul. Yeah. So
I get that. I get that. It's a good point. But then also looking at, you know, playing devil's advocate, not to say it is, but surely a demonic presence would like that entertainment. That
Depends if it's scared or not.
ego trip, isn't it? You know, there's an ego trip within it. You know, for me,
yeah.
demonic want that showcase. You know, we're talking about fallen angels. They want to get to the earth plane. That being stuck in the, you know, let's be fair, it never hurt any of them nurses. It never hurt any of them roommates.
I think, yeah, I did. I think
Well, it went to her.
Sorry, it never killed. It never killed. Never did it kill. Never did it kill. This is, you know, we're talking about something here that is so-called killed. But yeah. What I wonder is, has it taken it on tour with the intentions of something happening with her a bit off too much? I feel the family and friends left behind. I feel I feel for the family and friends that left behind, but what was his intentions for the tour?
Exactly. We don't know that. So it's a great point. That's exactly what I'm trying to say. Is
Surely it's going to be to try and get a reaction or something
yeah
to happen.
Yeah.
But I'm assuming it's just a showcase of Ed and Lorraine's work.
Mm. But they wouldn't have wanted that either, would they?
No, they wouldn't. They wouldn't.
Which I'm quite surprised
they were
that
very, very strict. Yeah, they were very, very strict in what they did, and every bit that he had in that museum, he did have it under control. And as Paul said, he had a vicar or a priest in.
And I know that Tony Spiros is his son-in-law, isn't it?
Yeah.
So I'm surprised that, because he knew how passionate they were, and they taught him a hell of a lot. I know he'd done a lot of TV interviews with him. He had his show, didn't he? Where he interviewed him and things like that. But
he was always with him, wasn't he? In the
always.
Yeah, he was with him.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Everything has been, he heads this NASPA, he heads it. So everything that has gone on has been agreed by the correct processes. You know, we know the Occult Museum got stopped for certain reasons, which wasn't anything to do with paranormal. It was to do with the local residents. When Tony come on our show, it's nothing to do. It's local authorities that have stopped him from doing it. That would still be going. But we know that Ed and Lorraine Warren, Lorraine Warren was a part of that museum. She let people in. And so she was allowing people to see the doll, but it was obviously controlled.
It was controlled, yeah. It was controlled. Yeah.
But then again, there's nothing to say that the doll that was on display in the museum is the authentic doll.
Yeah.
It could quite easily be a replica. Look at some of the museums we've got. You know, I reckon 80% of the items, artifacts, are replicas. Yeah. They're not the actual thing.
No,
I do believe a lot in that it can control things. I think I think a prime one is where we're going Saturday night with the Dagenham Idol. I think that controls a hell of a lot in balance. To be honest, I had never put my finger on that before to the last time we went, and I know it is.
It's a strange piece of kit. It is a strange bit of kit.
Yeah, but what I'm saying, it's in a glass case, like Cannibals in a glass case. It's probably all right there to look at it.
But there's two differences, you know.
You're
saying, I do get what you're saying, but there's no priest that's been into Valence House to put that into, a cage and don't take it out. It's just there for.
Didn't we find out that it was a replica in there though last time we done the show? When we looked into it,
I do believe so. Is the Dagon? I'll find that out in a minute. All right.
Yeah. That's sorry.
Yeah. It fits. It fits. Alex Andrews, do you 100% believe the doll was linked to his death, or do you think there was a chance it could be coincidence? We'll go around and we'll ask that question to myself. I generally believe it's potentially at this moment in time, until I hear more information, I think it's coincidence. But that's neither here or there.
Yeah.
Simon?
I'd probably go down the lines of coincidence, but I'm not so sure about the doll. I don't know what power that doll has. So I think he's a brave man to be doing what he's doing with the doll.
Yeah. I don't think you could be 100% either way, regardless of the information you're given. It's a very tricky one.
No, I agree. Yeah. We've got a lot of coming in. I am getting down the comments, guys. Please just bear with me, okay? I'm trying to get all the comments in. We are really back in time because we were talking about Zach Joe thinks he's the same. That's in my opinion. Also, what are your thoughts on the Robert the Doll? Now, that's a whole different story. Robert, we'll come back to that. Okay, we'll come back to the Robert Dole after this one. Okay, so that's a whole different story. This is coinciding with the priest coming in. It was weekly that the priest come in, called Tony Devlin.
Yes.
Demons concede you into doing things. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Been aware of 2 people about to commit suicide on, like, say, like an angel intervention. Been aware of
I have heard of that, yeah.
I don't know what we was talking about on that, so it's probably been a bit disruptive.
You were talking about the doll, the demon getting the person to commit suicide, rather than the demon making the person harming the person. And yeah, there could be angel intervention. Agreed. Yin yang, good, bad. So yeah.
Oh, absolutely. I think you have to call on that. I think you have to call on that positivity. I think you can't defeat something with pure evil, like the intentions that the demonic have, without some form of intent to fight it. And it's not necessarily religious fight or angel fight. It is a fight within you deep down of, I've got this. I don't feel depressed. I don't feel like this. It's a positive attitude that then links into allowing the door to open for the angelic angels to come in. And I think they're there around you because it's like a yin yang effect.
Yeah.
Where,
like I say, surely it's a like a universal law thing as well. You know, I do believe in that sort of thing. You know, you can't have too much of one. I know it comes into the balance of the yin yang, but otherwise it would be rife, wouldn't it? Surely.
You think so, wouldn't you?
I think you have to have a balance. I think you have to have a balance. I think you have to have an understanding where there's dark, there's light. Where there's good, there's evil. If you weigh it as, you know, like I use the terminology, you know, the old scales that you used to put the chain, you know, with the chains and the hand.
Yeah.
So if you balance that, so if you believe too much in the good, you're opening the door for the negative to intrude, and vice versa. And there is no balance. You have to balance it to keep both doors sort of a balanceable light. So you know when you want your good and you know when you've got to accept the bad. And you can keep it balanced, you go through life quite. But if you undo that or you undo it one way, you're always attracting something that you don't necessarily need or want. That's just my opinion.
No, I think that's quite a good analogy. That mate, spot on.
Because you see too many people, and you think, like, we watch everything on the telly. Everything on the telly is negative, demons, or whatever. Nowhere do you go in and you watch. It doesn't make good TV. I get it. No one wants to see a nice, pure energy they talk to because it doesn't show you what they want.
Excuse me, did you never watch Highway to Heaven?
No. But, you know, and I know it sounds silly, but look at the early years of Most Haunted. They were just dealing with energies. Then it started to get, because they had to make it for TV, the scratches started to appear. The bloodshed started to appear. The things being thrown started to appear. The knives started to appear.
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. There's a balance. And that's what I say. The TV side of things is so unbalanced that, you know, it will be there. It will be.
Yeah.
Any ideas? Tony, I am so sorry. Do they use things again, you two? I don't know what in questions that was. Put that in a question for us and we'll try and answer it again for you, Tony. All right. So I am working down. You're not mocking it when it's on display. It's giving it glory, just what it wants. See, that'd be how I see it.
Yeah, agreed. But in that museum, where it was housed in that museum, they were letting people in not to mock it. It was a museum to, for want of a better word, to probably put the fear of God into people about those things in that museum. Because that wasn't the only thing in the museum. It had loads in the museum, didn't they?
Yeah. But I think, but it's what I think the doll has gone and it's been glorified by Hollywood. I think the doll, because for all intents and purposes, there could be stronger things in that museum. But
Yeah, it is.
If you took there was a haunted pen in the museum, you took that on display and said, "This is a haunted pen," they're going to go, "I don't want to go and see that." You're bringing a Hollywood doll to the picture frame.
Yes, agree.
No, that's where I think the energy is beginning to get its momentum. You know, there could be more bad things in that museum rather than this poxy doll.
Oh, God, yeah, there probably is.
I would probably base my money on it that there is more things in that.
I'd like to go to the museum. I would like to go to the museum.
Yeah.
So would I. I think the Warrens Museum was to show how dangerous the dark arts are.
That's the point. Yeah, that's exactly what I was trying to get. Yeah, that's exactly what I was trying to point out. That's what I think it is. Yeah, they were trying to show how dangerous it was. You messed about a bit. Fine, be it on your head.
Yeah,
but this is what I'm saying. Then it's
out of it.
Yeah, then it sort of become a bit more gimmicky, though, didn't it?
Yeah.
And this is what I'm saying. When you say like people going, is it not mocking it? And it's feeding off people coming to visit it, but it's only going to feed off the people coming to visit it if the people coming to visit it are frightened of it and scared of it.
Mm.
If they're coming in laughing at it and this and that, then that's surely going to turn it the other way. That's going to make it upset because it's got nothing there to feed off of.
True.
I get it, but then how I see that, you know, like the touching of the doll, I believe in my pureness, I believe in my intentions, I believe that my guides have got my back, I believe that my angels are there, whatever you want to call it. It doesn't matter. I could kiss that doll for all I care, and it can't touch me because I'd know that my guides would be there.
Yeah.
You know, that's how I see it.
Agree, but then if you were confronted with it and your guides are telling you something else, then surely you wouldn't.
Then that I would question, for me, then that makes me, then that would question my whole sensibility of where I am.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is that you've gone in, you stood there, you haven't ever seen the Annabelle doll, right? You said you touch it, right? So let's get it out. There's the Annabelle doll right in front of you, and your guides are saying, shh, don't you dare touch that. If you touch that, you're in trouble. Are you going to touch it?
Yeah.
Oh, no, I wouldn't see that.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't.
Because then that would say to me that I am weak.
Why?
But no, it's not you. It's your guides are saying it.
Yeah, because then for me, I've always my guides will be different. I think guides are different to every single person. Okay, my guides would tell me not to do something, but they full well know I'm going to do it, and I've always walked out there in a protective manner. Mm-hmm. When my guides tell me not to do something, they know what I'm going to do, and I've always said to my guides, "Don't tell me not to do it, because that makes me feel weak. That will give the strength of that demon to come forward to me. That will give that negative to come forward to me, because I can't confront it, because we can't control that energy. That makes it weak on my behalf. It's only my way of how I work. It doesn't matter how Simon works, Paul works, and everybody works.
No,
but I can't.
We work differently, but I'm saying if my guide said don't touch it, I wouldn't touch it. 100%.
For me, if that was happening to me, then I'd be more in fear of it, because then I know I'm now.
I haven't got to go back to touch it. I haven't got to go back to it. I have never got to go back to see it. I've never got to go back to see it.
But I don't think you're allowed to touch it. I would touch the glass screen. You know, I'd put my hand on it, say hello.
You think you can touch the glass screen, can't you? I don't think it's I think it's actually touching the dough. But I think you've got a lot more questions, mate, coming into.
Yeah, we got loads coming in. I think they should have left the dough alone. Just let people go to the museum to see it. And so the museum doesn't exist. That's the thing. It does exist, but you can't go to the museum.
Not anymore. Not anymore. Yeah, it's true.
Tina has put, I don't think I'd want to be in the same room as it.
No.
That's it. Right. Alex has put, just my opinion, but I don't think the doll likes being controlled and be putting on tour. It was holding an element of control over it. For example, when someone sees it, when they don't and where to, the doll has to bring its own element of control back as a reminder.
Good point. Good point.
But it's extreme, though, isn't it? That's extreme. Because for takes and purposes, at this moment in time, we don't know of any other person that has died from the Annabelle doll.
Yes, we don't. There is another one that mocked it. And 2 days later, a motorcycle accident. Yes, we don't.
So we know that one's thing. But a majority of people have only come out with injuries, so to speak.
Scratches, yeah. I suppose it's how much you mock it.
Yeah, I suppose this is the part of the question, to be fair. You know, what point of control, you know. See, for me, this doll needs to gain energy. It needs to control its energy. It wants to grow.
Right.
It needs that energy to grow. Going out and killing somebody hasn't got that power, because we all know now that the Nespa will have to put that back in the museum, and it will never go out on tour again, and it probably never be seen apart from a video camera again. It's lost its control. It hasn't gained any control. It's lost it. I would think it as a demon. If I was a demon, I'd want to go out on control, because I can get my energy further. I can then control more of it. I can grow that. The more I can spread the seed, so to speak. I think it's cut its nose off to spite its face.
If that's the way it's working, we don't.
Yeah.
We don't know the way it's working, do we? We don't.
Yeah, no, we don't. We don't.
You know, is the tour going to stop?
And don't forget, time
Time
works different.
Yeah. And is the tour stopping? Because they haven't said the tour's going to stop, have they?
Well, it was only a 3-day tour.
Huh?
It was only a 3-day tour. It was done.
Right. So it's done. So they might do another 3-day tour.
Yeah, it was, well, yeah, it was done Friday, Saturday, Sunday night. And he died in the early hours of late Sunday night back in his hotel room.
Not
So, the Nottingham Museum has a lot of dolls with a lot of energies. Amazing place. That's Helen. I've never been there. There's a couple of museums. I think the Warrens should be condemned commended for waking people up to energies that need to be respected.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, she was always a spiritualist person, but he was more of the religious side. But he never believed Never believed
in what?
the religious side of things.
Correct.
Yeah, he did.
He didn't.
Yeah. He did.
Didn't. He practiced it. He practiced it because that's what he thought kept him safe. But when you sort of look into it more, he only had people on tap to come in his later years. So he decided to lose his faith.
See, I thought
She didn't. She only had
didn't.
She was a medium. She was a medium.
But he become ordained, or he become able to do his own
Exorcisms, yeah.
exorcism, so to speak.
But I didn't think he wanted to be so much of a man of a cloth, because it wasn't his way of life type of thing, and the sacrifices you've got to make for that, rather than, I don't think it was the fact that he wasn't religious.
But then that goes.
There's being religious and believing, and then taking that next step to.
If you look at, so exorcists can't have what he does. You can't have children. You have to be celibate. You have to be all that. If you're looking at the true meaning of the word exorcism and an exorcist, and if they're brought into you done properly, they have, you know, they're celibate. They're supposed to have no love relationship or never had a relationship, no meaning of love. They don't respect love because you're supposed to be able to.
So does that mean that Lawman then, whatever his name is not an exorcist?
If you will look at the true meaning of,
Yeah. So he didn't believe in the sort of archaic beliefs of the religious church in that way.
Yeah.
Now that I agree with.
So the sheer fact is, if you want to be, not the belief is that you can't have anything that a demon can control you back with.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it can't get to you if you've never felt love, you've never had love, you're celibate, you've never married, you've never had children, you live a very lonely life. It has no control over you. You know, you look at all the horror films in time where you've got the exorcist goes in, they always pick up on that moment of you've had an, you know, you love so and so, you can't control me because I'll come after you. So when you, I suppose it comes under the Catholic regime from the Vatican, I think, true exorcists, because I know in this country we don't have any so-called true exorcists. We have ones that believe they can do it. In America, they have one that has in every state that has been assigned by the Vatican to go and live in that state to help with the process of exorcism, which is a full blown, you know, there's plenty of other exorcists in the state, but from the Vatican there is one, only one, and they will have to go, so the priest in question will come out to the house. The priest will then, if they believe that there is a case for this exorcist to come along, they would have to approach the Vatican, not directly the exorcist, and then the Vatican would approach the exorcist in that state to come forward to that home. If they believe that the evidence is substantial enough to go forward and have a look into the case. We don't have anything like that in this country. We don't. I don't quite know how it even works in this country. I don't know. We'd have to have we'd probably have to go.
There are exorcists, aren't there? There are people.
Yeah, but I think they have also sort of laxed their rules.
Yeah.
No, you know, it's not as strict as it once was.
You'd have to relax your rules because it's society that we live in, isn't it?
Yeah.
And how we bring that up.
I don't know. Why would you relax your rules? Because if you're doing it from the Vatican and they can do it for 50 states in America,
even the Vatican's starting to
but you think
change their ways, aren't they?
American people are more
demonic.
This than what?
Yeah. No, they are more. I don't mean that they're more demonic, but in America, everything is a demon.
But then you also realise, look at it, that there's more religious people in the States.
Yeah.
They believe in the God. It doesn't matter what nationality you are. It doesn't matter, what colour you are. They believe strongly in God. You look at all them people, that weird bloke that comes and says, I'll cast you out and all that. He's got demonic eyes. That's the demon in possession itself, ruling.
Oh, that fella. Yeah. Oh, well, I know who you're talking about now. The one with the planes and the mansions. And
that's it. Do you know what I mean?
It's a strange one, that one.
They believe that side of things and that will save them. But all intents and purposes, look that geezer in the eye and tell me he ain't demonic, then
100%.
We haven't got that over here. don't have that over here.
Yet.
No, we don't. You know, we don't. You know, there's going to be places where you can go and receive that if you wanted to, but you have to dig hard for it.
Yeah.
You have to dig hard for it. Over there, it's an open church. There's probably one on every corner that you can walk in every Sunday and say I'm possessed, and you're going to get an exorcism. You know, they should never have taken her out and should never allow anyone into the museum unprotected. That's from Sarah.
Yeah, great.
Don't know who this is. It's obviously Kim or Sandra. I would touch it, but I would have respect for it because it's the personnel around the person
No, around it, yeah.
around
Agree
her.
with
I don't know if that's Kim or Sandra.
Guess it, Kim.
Alex, Andrew, I also think that everything happens for a reason. What if the doll wanted to be taken out and has the power to control? And when it's gained what it wants, there was no more use for him any.
What a way of looking at
Yeah,
that.
that's a good way of summing it up.
Right, I need to pick that apart because I can't get that into my head at the moment. I also think that anything happens for a reason. What if the doll wanted to be taken out and has the power of control? And when it gained what it wanted, there was no use for it. Okay, yeah, right. I get it. Yeah. I sense that. I do sense that. But I've also, if you watch the Zach Bagans program on that Annabelle doll when it was taken to the museum, and he touched it, didn't he? And Tony flew in there, kicked all his toys out of his pram, and said, "I'm taking the thing away, and you shouldn't have touched it. You've gone against my rules," and everything like that. And Zach was saying, "Well, it was telling me to touch it. It was telling me to touch it." Well, that goes along that what Alex is saying here, in my eyes. But then I go along the lines of, I believe that Tony was possessed, or it has control over Tony rather than Zach.
Because he was probably following Ed and Lorraine Warren's instructions.
Yeah,
and don't forget, her daughter. It's her daughter as well. It was their daughter as well.
And
So
she's a very good medium, by the way.
She's what?
She's a very good medium, but doesn't practice.
Yes. Yeah. So
No, I get
what I'm saying is Tony Spira has probably been given instructions by the Warrens. That's how you control this doll. So he would kick his toys out the pram. I would kick my toys out the
But
pram.
it wasn't the fact that he kicked his toys out the pram. It's how he went. It's how he went.
What do you mean?
I looked into the eyes. I looked his eyes. I looked at the persona changed of him. It wasn't him. It wasn't him there. And I'm not saying it was, I believe is what it was. It was the control of the doll. And you can put that doll in a glass container all you bloody well want. It doesn't stop it. I'm sorry, it doesn't. If it's killed a human without it being, at the moment we're talking about it's potentially killed a human. It was in its glass case. So the glass case means fuck all. It really doesn't.
If it was anyone, I'm gonna have to watch this bit. I have seen clips of it. I don't remember seeing Tony going off.
Yeah, we'll watch it. It's good.
It's
good.
If it was anyone else, then I'd start picking it apart. But because this is where my head goes, because that Zach Bagans was involved in it, to me, the whole thing's a setup.
Yeah, and you see, I think if it's script,
You say that wasn't Tony, maybe it was him acting.
Yeah, it could have been him acting, but he was always, he was as close to Ed and Lorraine Warren as anybody was.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, total respect for them. Total respect.
But that's my whole point is that if that energy is controlled by the doll and it's in the doll, it's living in the doll, whatever you want to look at it. it will jump at any point.
Mm.
It will,
Yeah.
for me, it must be happy in that doll. It must be getting what it wants within that doll. It must be.
Yeah.
Because I don't think a glass container can control it. I'm
Until
sorry.
it finds what it wants.
But exactly that. So what's to say that it is even still in that doll after all these years?
But let's say that put it this way, right? If it was attached to a nurse, we're saying, and it was a 6-year-old girl, perhaps it's looking for a 6-year-old girl. Well, you're not going to get a 6-year-old girl going into a demonic museum. You're not going to get a 6-year-old girl going to a Annabelle sideshow, are you? Really?
Mm.
So perhaps that's where it needs to get to. I don't know.
That's an interesting theory. Yeah.
Plain Spotting UK, good evening.
Oh, yeah.
Joe, scripted. I'm assuming he's talking about
Well, yeah.
It's a Zach Baggins thing, isn't it? Yeah.
ghost hunting. Ghost hunting has got to be 10 times better. Has got 10 times better. Has got 10 times. Ghost hunting's got 10 times better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah, I sort of agree. Yeah. Joe heard me say the F word. Well, it's past the watershed. It's 6 minutes past. It's 6 minutes past 9. So I think I get a free pass on that one. But sorry, it just come out because I do not believe the glass container can control an energy. I don't. I really, really don't. And I think it's just. I think you as
you say that, but we attach energies to things.
But in my remit, I only get a maximum of 20 minutes to an hour to do that and get it out. I can't keep it.
Okay. Yeah, but what I'm saying is, if that was put in there with that 10 or 20 minutes, Ed Warren had, and he put it into that museum, and then it can't get out that museum, and they're taking it out.
For the museum, but I wouldn't think it would want to leave the museum because of the negative energy living there. If you're a negative soul, if you're a demonic presence, and you've got this museum full of negative, haunted objects, which none of them are going to be nice. Let's be fair.
I can't remember what there was there, Paul, but there was loads, isn't there?
Yeah, I don't see. I think the opposite of that. I think why would it's not craving other negative energy.
No, but it's surrounding itself in what it wants, isn't it?
No, because he's surrounding itself. He wants to surround itself in things he can make into negative when they should be thinking positive. If you're in a room full of negativity, he's got nothing to do. He's bored.
I'm just trying to click on. Sorry,
that's the way I see it anyway.
Is what's in there? I just want to know what's in there. There's loads of stuff in there. I know there's a brick Bawley Rectory in there.
There's a what?
Is there really?
There's a brick from Bawley Rectory in there.
Yeah. Yes, there is. Yeah, that's true. There is. There's going to be something probably from the Conjuring House. There's probably going to be something from Enfield.
Right, let's have a look. You've got the creepiest lists of what's in there. So, we've got a haunted piano. Ed Warren got it from the home of a dead priest. A samurai suit. Vampire's coffin. A brick from Bawley Rectory.
Yeah.
The Perron family music box.
That's from the Conjuring House.
Yeah.
But I don't know if these are true though or not. The Pearls of Death. Annabelle Comes Home. Morning Bracelets Inspiration. The Conjuring Mirror. The Toy Monkey. The toy monkey comes to life in Annabelle. Comes home.
Yeah. There was a toy monkey. Yeah.
The Satanic Idol. The idol reportedly made Lorraine sick. A shadow doll. The doll that kills people in their dreams. That's like bloody. Freddy Krueger, isn't it? Non-featured items, I don't know. I say there's a lot there. One did say there was it's a lot.
Vampire's coffin.
Yeah, it's supposed to be a modern days vampire coffin.
Yeah, you do have vampires, didn't you?
I want to suck your blood.
Yeah, but there are people out there that actually do that.
Yeah, but they're not actual vampires in the way they're people that think they're vampires, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, an actual vampire coffin, I don't know where I stand with that. Have they got a werewolf's tooth as well?
Well, I just expect Leslie Nielsen to come out from it. I'm trying to find you. What is in? There is a YouTube video of it. Oh, it's only. Can I share the screen? Will we get taken off? I'll play that. I don't think I will. Hold on. Got it. Right, hold on. Let me share my screen. How do I share my screen? Share screen. Share screen. You want that? Share. I don't know if it's going to play.
इस ऑकल्ट म्यूजियम में श्रापित वैम्पायर कॉफिन्स भी मौजूद है। इसके बारे में कोई साफ तथ्य नहीं है, लेकिन ये डरावना दिखने वाला पदार्थ बहुत ही ज्यादा श्रापित माना जाता है। इस कॉफिन के पीछे की कहानी
There's a picture of it, but it is in foreign.
Yeah. Well, some of it is.
Yeah. So, yeah, I haven't. I say there isn't too much of what coffin is, but it's weird though. Let's be fair. Who doesn't want a coffin in their house? You know? Who doesn't want a vampire's coffin?
I don't.
Oh, I think it'd be quite good.
What would you want that for?
You know. Oh, I think I
the same reason you want a lightsaber, you know, just to hang on the wall and admire it.
Yeah, but when you just sleep in it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'd quite easily sleep in a coffin. It wouldn't bother me. But yeah, vampire's coffin just tucked up in the coffin. I suppose it's because I don't necessarily believe in vampires, as in the fact of like the Hollywood vampires that they come in. I do believe that obviously there's people out there that want to bite you and drink your blood. What that reason's for, I don't think they, smolder when you throw holy water over them. They shrink when the days and the night comes, like the days. And all that. Do I believe in that? No. But do I believe in vampires? I think there is people out there that think they're vampires and probably think there was something.
Well, they have their teeth done and everything, don't they?
Yeah, they want to suck your blood. Right. But then it wasn't the glass container controlling the energy. It was the spell on the container to hold her at bay. I do still think that she has a power of choice. If she feels there's a chance of possession, then why wouldn't she take it? Totally agree, Alex. Totally agree. Yeah. I can concur with that. I think there has to be something that right. I think all conditions, it has to be.
It has to be what she wants to take possession of. That's what I would say. I think that is probably what she wants to take possession of, who she wants to take possession of. If she gets that chance, and I think she probably would.
I sort of.
I think if you've got a child, human child in there, then she'd probably take her chance.
I don't see what that obviously we don't know all the ins and outs. I just don't see that bloke showing that any mocking or disrespect to Annabelle Doll. Knowing what he is with Tony Sapiro, what he knows about, he's worked in the occult museum.
I don't say he's mocked it, but he's moved it. He's gone on tour with it, and whatever that.
I do get it.
Perhaps they should have called it something else other than a tour. Might have probably worked better. I don't know.
Yeah, but yeah, that's all. That's, you know, I think we're quite split on it. Right, I've got a question. We're going to end on a question. For Lee, this is for Lee. I've got to find it now. Hold on. Diddly do. Right, I've got to go to the question now. Right, of course. Anyway, I'm going to ask you a question. Right. People say that when we die, our spirits then exist on another plane. So my question is, when we die, so do we share that plane with everyone who's died and get to meet the great granddad Arthur, who we never met? Or do we, when we die, only exist on a plane with people who we physically knew and met in the living world?
Good God.
I like the fact they're asking us a question like we've got the absolute answer.
Well, I'll ask your opinion then.
Yeah.
Right.
The question, opinion.
I think we're going to meet the people that we know, but not in the way that we knew them. If you get my meaning. So, right. When I think, from what I've read, where people have had near death and actually gone to the light, they've seen the people that they knew in life, and they would acknowledge them, but it wasn't like me seeing granddad, me seeing dad, me seeing me dad. They would acknowledge you, but you wouldn't go up and put your arms around them. But it wasn't cold, but that's what they're saying. So my belief is, or my opinion is, that I'm going to go there. There are going to be people that I know, but it's not going to be in the same way as I knew them on this earth plane. If that makes sense.
I have a question on that one. Keep that one in your mind. Paul?
See, I've sort of changed my mind over the years quite often about things like this, mate. So I can't really give a definitive answer, but I'm more along the lines of, do I believe we see past relatives and that? Yes and no. I think I know there's no time frame when you're on the other side, that kind of thing. Yeah. So, but I think you more move on to this is like just a stepping stone in your consciousness. When you go to the other side, you'll have that brief moment of recognition, is it? Meeting up with old friends and family, but then you're moving on to the next level. That's kind of where I am at the moment. You know, you're ascending to that next plane where the sky's the limit. I think you've got far more capabilities when you pass over to what you've got now. We can only access, what is it, 10% of your brain, and your vision, your sights, your smells, your sounds, everything you can do. Where I think in the next part, you get a hell of a lot more.
Yeah.
No, I agree with all of you. I think there's parts of there. I generally, I suppose I keep my logic very simply. I don't believe there's multiple planes at the moment. I just believe there's, when we pass, we just go to that plane of good, for want of a better phrase. I do believe there's only good and evil, heaven and earth, whatever you want to see it, biblical sense. Do I believe in heaven? Do I think you go to the place where it's lightning and brimstone and all that crap? Potentially, I don't know. Yeah. But I just think there's two sides. I think there's dark and I think there's light. And I think obviously the light side is anything that's stepped on this plane. And I think the dark is everything that's trying to get to this plane, fallen angels, demonic, and things like that. Do I think I will see my great granddad that I've never met? Yes, I do. I think we have that ability to go and see them. Do I? And this is where I go to where I think Simon, I don't think we will see him in a physical form of face and arms and legs. I just think we know of that energy, a ball of light for one of the best plays. I don't think we have this a head and the shoulders and we walk and we wander. I don't think it works like that. I think we're just a ball of energy that coexists in another plane. But I do think I do think there's an embrace. I do think that we do. I feel happiness. I do think that we see that that want of a feeling, not like what Simon said. It was not cold. It wasn't what you was expecting. And this is what I say when I had a question to that, Simon. We're taking good evidence on people that have passed.
Yeah.
Not counter argument, because it's not a counter argument. Would you expect them people on the other side to be warm and embrace?
No.
No. If you die, then I expect them to be warm and embracing. But we're talking about people that have come near death, so they've gone to the other side and come back again.
Yeah,
it's what my counter argument would be is they know that you're not to die, so why would they make it nice? They don't want you here just at this moment in time. So they're not. Do you know what I'm saying? And not in a nasty way.
I do know what you're saying, but at that point, I think you're given a choice whether you want to go to that place or come back. I think you're given that choice. I do think you're given that choice.
Well, it's this is not your time, but this is what you can expect when you get here.
Yeah, or do you want to come?
I don't think there is a choice. That's my opinion. I
think there is a choice. I do think there is a choice, but
I think so.
Who knows? Who knows?
I just think your numbers up when your numbers up. My logic, I suppose, is how you see it. Is when you're born, the old meat counter used to have the ticket, the V-shaped ticket.
Yeah.
When you're born, you pick your number. When the big man upstairs goes number 1028, your time's up. That's it. You're done.
Yeah.
But if you go up there before your time's called, you ain't going to get in because there's nowhere for you at the moment because we ain't made room at the inn for you, fella. So that's that. I don't
know. I think some things are accidental. Some things do happen before they're supposed to happen, and I think that's where it's a bit tricky. You're not meant to go in now, mate. And I think that's where a lot of these near-death experiences happen, and they die.
I don't know if you watched. There's a program. It's not going off the point, but it was a girl in South Africa. She was called Alison, right? And she was badly beaten, raped. She had a throat slit. She had her intestines they disemboweled her, the two people, and she was laying on the floor. And she went up, and they give her a choice. Do you want to go? And at that point, she said, I could have just gone. But this woman literally had to get up. Her head, she said, like she couldn't see anything. She had to pull her head down, right, to walk. And she said she don't know how she walked to the road because it was quite a way. But she said all of a sudden I was just lifted by some sort of force and I was put onto the road. Now she survived all that. So she did get then given a choice. Right, come now.
But that's exceptional circumstances as well, I think, because to me, she's meant to do something with her life that she hasn't had a chance.
She has. Yeah, she has.
Do you know what I mean? So I think that's where divine intervention, that's
massive. divine intervention, though. How do you
If you get a chance to watch it, it's on Amazon Prime, and I never thought I'd watch anything like it, but just
Yeah, it's
watch
crazy.
it. It's Paul Ellison. It's a documentary.
that in I think that is all your realms coming together.
Yeah,
I don't think that's just a spiritual realm. I
Yeah,
think
it's powerful.
that's something that we can't comprehend, because we're going along the line. She got uplifted and taken somewhere.
oh yeah, she did. I think. Yeah.
You know, we're talking about maybe extraterrestrials getting involved in this point to get her to where she needs to be. We could be talking about guardian angels. We could be talking about a whole new meaning of the word.
Yeah, she said it was a light. She felt a light and she felt a warmth. And then she was,
As Paul said, there must have been a whole
God,
meaning for her.
just watch it. Just watch it. It's I couldn't believe it, but watch it. It's worth watching. Not a sort of thing I would normally watch. And don't ask me how I watched it, but
Well, you had to watch it.
yeah, no, it was good.
Right. We've got to come to the end of the show. It's been quite enjoyable, guys. Thank you ever so much.
That's been.
It's been a good show.
To be fair, I
Enjoyed that.
we would get nearly an hour and 15 minutes out of an Annabelle doll, but I suppose it's got its like, for want its phrase, I suppose it's got its legs and walks. But
Yeah, but it's good to talk about the old ghosties every now and then, you know, and get the old
Yeah.
spiders
brains going.
it is. That's, you know, it was definitely a lot deeper than it could.
So a question I would like now I could go on to ask, right? But I'll save it for the next show. But who do we speak to when we call spirit forward and get answers? Why does that work? How does that work? How do we tap into that energy? How? Why? What are they sitting there waiting for tell us? Why?
I don't know. Well, write the question down, and we shall answer it.
No, just get Lee to pose us another one because that's.
And then write that question down. Write that
No,
question.
I like that. I like that. That's already got me going.
It gives us a starting block for the next show. And we haven't got to worry about what we're going to talk about. It will lead into something else. So, guys, thank you for everybody that's watching. Thank you for all the comments that have come through. I hope you've enjoyed the show. We will be back next week. I think we're back next week. I don't think anything's on next week. Whatever the case is, we'll be back next week. All right, then. Take care, guys. Stay safe, and we'll see you soon.
Bye-bye.